So I got, let's see, I have quorum. It's about 103, 104. I have quorum because I see that we have Fiore and Lindsay is here, and myself establishes quorum with 3. Tim Allen is, I believe people may or may not be aware, Tim's son had a significant medical situation, a very severe heart attack. He's in the Boston hospital. He's been there for more than a couple of weeks now. The last update was that he's off the ventilator. His heart is starting to recover a little bit, but it was a significant episode. So we're sending prayers and asking for prayers for him and his family. Tim may get on, may not. He's been spending the majority of his time in Boston, because of the hospital situation.
I'll make a motion. We accept the previous minutes as written, unless there's any additions, corrections, or deletions.
I hear a motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion has been made in seconds. Hearing no questions, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. I don't have the agenda right in front of me. I apologize, but I believe the next item would be the discussion of the. Wait a minute. Let me pull it up on another phone. Does somebody have a copy of the agenda they can assist me with? So I have it right here. Yes, we've had these discussion of the policies. Continued review of the REO utilization form for the month of July. Brightwood Elementary, Lincoln School project. First, before we get into, I'm going to turn it over to Hope or to Che to kind of give us an update. But first, I wanted to thank Hope Button and Che, of course. There was an article that was printed in the paper most recently, and I had asked at the last meeting when Hope could send to me the information about the actual money put into the pockets of employees, and the broadcast that was created on the news broadcast made it sound like it was the contractors. The newspaper got it right because this was the actual employees, and I thought that was important for us to get that out. And so I want to say thank you to Hope and to Che both for getting that out. I also see that Fiore's hand is up. Fiore, do you have something you want to say right now?
Yeah, I just wanted to touch base on that that article that was posted. I saw it on a Facebook link where I was however tagged on it. I mean, the mayor was quoted, and again, I think we did great. I really do. So let me premise this conversation with that. But we have to be, or I don't know who wrote the article up for the mayor or his statement, but his statement said we met and exceeded on all aspects, and we were actually a smidgen short on females, and again, very short on residents. But we have to be. Someone has to be a little bit more cautious because again, it wasn't met. So there's probably a nice way to put that, but right now it just looks odd because it does say we exceeded it, but then when you look at the real numbers somewhere in the article, you compare the two and you can see that it didn't meet. So it just kind of goes against what he said in the paper. That's all.
So TJ's quote, Fiore, TJ's quote did say that it, and I don't remember exactly what the mayor said, but TJ's quote had the numbers and it also said it met or exceeded nearly all, which it did. So I'll have to look at the mayor's. I can't remember exactly what he says, but he was given all the same information as TJ and Councilor Edwards and all of us. So
that's perfect the way you phrased it. I honestly don't remember seeing the word almost or whatever you nearly, but again, it could have been in there and I skipped right over it. So again, I read it twice just to reread the statement before I went into the meeting today. But if you just worded it perfectly. So again, I mean, we're only a smidgen off. So I think it's a starting point for the next one. I think we should be able to meet this on this up and coming project. Sounds like Fontaine is all in and ready to go. So looking forward to working along with everybody here in Fontaine and our compliance officers and getting this to happen.
Well, I appreciate the quote. The quote came from the mayor's office. I believe his communications specialist was the one who wrote the press release. Irregardless of whether nearly accurate the information, the purpose is there's a lot of criticism about what the REO doing and a lot of misinformation out there about the value of what the REO does. There is no perfection in anything that we do, and we're hopeful to build on it. Fontaine did do a great job, and with this project, regardless of whether it got to where we really wanted it to be in a perfected world, and we hope with the next project, which is Dewberry and Homer Street, to build on it. But it was good to get it out there because while the representatives of the unions know the value of the REO, you guys have been, doing yeoman's work right along with the members of the committee to try to get it done. There's a lot of people who are out there critical and think it's a waste of time. And quite often with the city's emphasis on residency, the city council just got a letter last week asking for a waiver for somebody in the IT department to fill a job requirement. Sometimes people, regardless of the salary, are not interested in living in the city of Springfield as needed for employment. I sat on a committee that approved or recommended the appointment of the new clerk of the city of Springfield. There were candidates from as far away as Florida, Georgia, and as close as Connecticut, who were probably as qualified to do the job as the person who was appointed, but they weren't willing to move to the city of Springfield. So their resumes were stellar, and they had all of the qualifications that we want to have somebody working for the city of Springfield, but the residency was enough to keep them from wanting to work here, to take the job regardless of the salary. So I think the point was noted. We will do our job to try to make it better the next time around, but regardless, it was a positive thing. The numbers were close enough that we should be celebrating it. My thanks to Hope and for Che for the work they've done. That's sincere, that's from me, and I appreciate it. And I also appreciate the support of all the unions, but the work and the job is not done yet. So I guess that's enough on that. So if there's no objections, I kind of like to either turn it over to either Hope or to Che to try to get some update on what's going on according to the this Brightwood utilization form for the month of July.
Well, you all have the form. We're still, I believe, wasn't there, Che, wasn't there this morning or something, some kind of dedication or ribbon cutting or something going on over there? I think it was this morning. I obviously did not go.
Okay.
But essentially the school is done. So the report that you have, I expect one more report for the month of August. But again, I don't see these numbers changing significantly, if at all. Everybody got the report, right? It was with the agenda.
I haven't. I can't speak for everybody, but I have.
And those are the numbers. Those are the numbers that the press release that the mayor issued, and the newspaper article. I think it was in the Sunday Republican. Those are the numbers from this July report. So it's my understanding everybody pretty much knows what the numbers are if they read the press release or whatever. So these are the numbers on it. And Fiore, I hear your critique on the residency. you know, we've addressed the issues that this project faced that were uncommon, you know, with the pandemic, et cetera. And I think I get that 30.4% is not 35%. Obviously fell short by 4.6%. But I look at this project as essentially, you know, pretty much one in 3 hours on this job were performed by Springfield residents. And I think it was a very solid performance, and I consider it a success. So that's my summary.
I concur, and just to piggyback off Hope, we will be sending letters out as well to the subs that did really good in meeting their numbers as commendation letters, and ones who didn't perform so well at all. So that would be our closing up as far as getting the letters out to the performers who did well, and we want them to know that, and the ones who need to do better going forward as well. So,
actually, Liz, welcome. Liz, the diversity officer for the ongoing, the new project at DeBerry. You're hearing what is being discussed in terms of falling short. And this was, of course, was during the pandemic.
Right.
There's a national conversation going on about employment. I can't speak for the unions, and I was hopeful the unions could give me some thoughts, the reps that are here today, about how easy, how difficult it is to get employees. I've noticed it just by going out to dinner at restaurants. Every restaurant I've gone, that even the ones to, you know, I love Cal's. Everywhere I go, I'm seeing a lack of service and a drop in quality. And the only common denominator that I'm drawing on that is that employees aren't as readily available. I don't get into whether or not too difficult to get into conversation about why, but are you having problems in hearing what the concern seems to be? Do you anticipate that that's going to be an issue? Because not because you're doing anything wrong, but just because people are choosing not to work.
You know, I mean, well, first of all, thank you so much for the welcome. You know, I think, yeah, we're seeing the reality of the help wanted signs everywhere across the board. And we know that that's, you know, certainly, you know, a factor that we, you know, might be running into. But I will say, just based on the, you know, success that we are seeing at Brightwood, you know, we feel very hopeful that we are going to be able to achieve these goals. So if you look at our July numbers, the only category that we're falling short on right now is the women category, right? So we're, you know, 4.15, which, you know, isn't too far off from these, you know, 6.9, but certainly what we are trying to do is, you know, start off strong. And so one of the next steps from here is Che, myself, and Dave Brio will actually be meeting with Norgate and Marshall, who are you know, going to be doing some work on site and having those conversations, you know, having them tell us what their plans are, and then seeing where we can support them. So that's, you know, an immediate step that we're taking. I think one of the other unique things about my role is, you know, I want to be a conduit to, you know, forming connections with other community groups. So if there is someone that I'm meeting, say I was actually having a conversation with someone from AIC this morning, you know, making the connection between that individual and maybe calling, you know, Charlie, you know, and Lisa, and saying, hey, like we have this, you know, person who's interested in an apprenticeship. And so looking for other kind of non-traditional sources to be able to get new blood. So again, I mean, you know, Lisa, Charlie, Che, Hope, everybody's been so, you know, fantastic in kind of walking me through this this process. And so I do feel confident that we'll be able to hit these goals, if not go over.
Either if it's an appropriate time, Lisa or Charlie, could either one of you just kind of comment as to what you're seeing on your membership is in terms of, are your members eager to be working? Are you finding that people are not, they're taking advantage of other opportunities, or just a fear of being exposed, keeping people at bay? And then also, since women are starting off with this Dewberry project seems to be where they're falling slightly under at this point, do you have women enough to satisfy their need on this project?
Yes, to answer your first questions on our membership base, we definitely had some members over COVID who were choosing not to work. Definitely, it was an issue in particular with some women with access to childcare and childcare issues during COVID. So it definitely affected it. I think post-vaccines, we're finding it less of an issue, and we've got members working and members available for work. And given how proactive Fontaine has been in talking to contractors before they're coming onto the project, and working to incorporate a focus on diversity throughout their conversations, we don't anticipate having problems. Often projects start off a little low on the women's side with those first, few contractors coming on who are actually often not carpentry contractors, but we will make sure that contractors are coming on and are able to meet their numbers. We do have, I know, at least one woman carpenter on the project right now. Charlie could speak more to it as well.
I'm sorry, I was actually on the phone with a member. We had an issue, a health issue. No, Fontaine has been extremely proactive. I'm so excited about the tone of how things are going, and the message they're making very clear to the subcontractors. I'm getting more feedback in the first month, contractors calling me, asking about availability of people. And I'm really excited the way this is going. Fontaine's doing a phenomenal job, in my opinion, to this point.
Fiore, you're president of the Ironworkers as well. And do you have women? Are you seeing the same types of concerns? I've been really concerned about childcare for a long time, and not just related to the construction trades, but just generally, the extra benefits women have to deal with when they go into the workforce. Are you seeing that your membership is eager and ready to work? And I think, in fact, they'd probably be less when I did the I think you guys should be clearing your site to get ready to start that shortly, correct? On that project. But Fiore, your thoughts on what is being discussed?
Yeah, so I only had one young lady who pretty much has been out since the start of COVID due to childcare, and actually thought she was going to be ready to go to this project, but she isn't. Right now, I've got a young lady down there tying rebar, and her sister's actually over at Bay State. When Bay State is finished up, my intent is to see if she wants to go over to this company. And then I do have another young lady that I think the industry's kind of beat her up. She's been doing rebar for about 7-8 years and working just for one company. So I'm trying to talk her to stay in. And again, my intent was to try to send her down there. But again, just some personal issues. It's a tough industry. And so I'm hoping she stays in, and eventually we'll get her down there. But right now, I did put a young lady out as one of the first workers, both a minority and a female, as well as a resident and a minority, both tying rebar. I think I've taken in 5 new people in the last month off the street.
So Norgate's going to meet their numbers on this one, huh?
Well, so again, you need to get on top of my contractor.
Oh, no, we're already on top of them.
One.
I'm asking you, is Norgate going to meet their numbers this time?
So again, you need to get on top of
I'm on top of your contractors.
It's the same contractor, so you need to get on the same contractor.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, well, I think, I don't have the answers to anything or any of these problems in its entirety, but to this entire group, if there's anything that I can do or that I can encourage either the administration or my colleagues to do, please don't hesitate to make me more knowledgeable and equip me with the tools necessary to fight for the cause of whatever your concerns are. I'll do the best I can. There is a lot of city that I was quite impressed recently when they put up money for this the truck driving licenses. I think they did that through mass hire. I was just disappointed. Heard there wasn't as many people applying for a free opportunity to get the license. And everybody's complaining about the lack of delivery drivers and CDL drivers around. So it's a free program, but that's uncommon occurrence around the city where there's money, program, resources available that are being underutilized by the public, and they do whatever excuse they want. They didn't know, they didn't hear about it. It's just inconvenient, whatever the excuse is, but it is out there. So, but if there's anything I can do to help facilitate, I'll be happy to do. Are there any other questions or comments related to the Brightwood link as we wrap this project up and look forward to the ribbon cutting? Okay, and if there's no objection, I'd like to move on and allow either Liz or Frank to start to talk about the presentation on the Homer Deep area, whoever is supposed to speak at this point.
So yeah, so those are, I think the one, aside from the numbers, which actually, so speaking, I was talking with Dave this morning. So to Lisa's point, we expect with Marshall now being on site to have that woman number look different for the August report, because there are several women who are already on site. The other big update is, so the trade bidding is open. And so all bids are due on Thursday, August 26th. So after that, I think, again, the next few months we'll have more updates on the project, but that's one that I wanted to make sure that we mentioned. And Charlie and I've already touched base about, looking at that list and seeing who's going to be coming on and being proactive about reaching out to them. Sorry.
And that's people, contractors or subs that are interested should be reaching out to you, Liz, directly.
Or
Steve Perry?
Yes, I mean, yes. Yes, I mean, the bidding, the trade bidding, obviously, that is, on the kind of automatic process. So that's with the project team. But but Charlie and I are gonna begin to start identifying, folks that we want to start talking with early. Is that progresses?
Yeah. Melvin, if I could just assist Liz there with the trade bidders, that's a process where we go through as a team with the CM, the architect, the city. We go through and we kind of shortlist, we qualify the trade bidders to invite them to the party, if you will. If they're not good contractors, we generally don't, as a group, want them on our project. So when she talks about trade bidders, those are the electricians, the plumbers, the heaters, heating contractors, flooring, painting. Those are the type of people that will be bidding that. There's 78 pre-qualified trade bidders, and that list has already been established through the process. Those are the numbers we will be getting on the 26th. And then that's with those people join the low bid basically joins the project.
Okay, I appreciate the clarity.
Yep.
When I'm getting yelled at about what we're not doing, then it makes it a little easier for me to repeat.
Yeah, just jumping in regards to Norgate, I will be personally reaching out to Mr. Gervais to make sure he fully understands the requirements there.
Thank you. Okay, let's see, next thing is, so there's any other comments or questions related to the ongoing construction at Homer and Dewberry? Okay, I had on here an update as to the attorney who will be joining us. Anybody, Hope, Jay, either of you heard anything, even Lindsay, who will be replacing Theo?
I have not, personally, I have not.
Neither have I.
Well, Lindsay, I assume you haven't heard because you haven't spoke up, but would you feel comfortable in doing that type of giving us some outreach to make so that we have some confidence that in a reasonable amount of time we'll have somebody keeping us legal?
Yeah, I think that's fair. I can follow up with that and see what the thoughts are for that.
I know there's some shortages in the law department. There's a lot of changes. Tom Moore has been elevated to a department head status. If you are not, any of you are on the committee that don't know, Attorney Thielese, who served us so admirably for so long, has taken a position with the water department. And many people in the city don't know that the water department operates independent of the city and the city council and administration. And we congratulate Theo, and we also appreciate everything he did for us. In fact, over the last 12 years, I think I've gone through maybe 5 or 6 attorneys now. So it's been pretty, and Fiore, you can echo what I'm saying in that regard. Fiore's on this call. Fiore and I are the only 2 that have been here since day one. Tim Allen is in Boston, as I said, but Tim was not a original member of the committee. Right now, the only original members is Pat Sullivan, myself, and Fiore. And so I guess that's all I have on that. I look forward to hearing who our new attorney was and reading them in and getting them up to speed as quickly as possible. I have nothing else except some platitudes and some appreciation comments, but anybody, before I open up to public speak out, does any of the members of the committee have anything they want to add? Anything from any of our guests that would like to add? And at this time, I also will open it up to either Charlie, Lisa, or Frank. Any of you?
No, we're just going to grind when we get these guys on board, just to go through our strategies. Once before we give them a contract, we're going to drag them in by their ears and say, this is what you're doing, and have them sign an agreement that's what the contract says, and that's what they have to do, and that's what we're going to expect and nothing less. So
that's really refreshing to hear, Frank. I know that was one of the things that was asked by some committee members in the past, was that the contractors or the GCs need to be responsible for getting in the ear of the subs and making sure that they understand from the start what was expected, as well as once, it wasn't enough to get on the job, start the job, and then be told what their expectations were. But I really appreciate that you're planning to have a blueprint from right out the box. And I think that should resonate in the ears of the members of the committee. Lisa, Charlie, either of you have something to make me harder?
I'm sorry, I missed part of it before, but I was actually able to place 5 people to work, 4 of which were city residents, minorities. 1 was a woman, and job. And I really can't explain how much this really changes people's lives. We talked about it before. It started really with MGM and the work Lisa and everybody did there, but this really has made a difference in people's lives. And jail marshal started 2 new apprentices today. One of the apprentices lives right around the block, and it's good because he doesn't want to drive to Boston to continue his apprenticeship. This REO is good for the city. and it's good for the trades.
Lisa?
Yeah, I mean, Charlie said it all. I guess I want to just add that, Shay, I hadn't heard about your new role, and I'm glad you're still going to be connecting with us through REO, and I look forward to hearing more about it. And,
Definitely. Thank you.
And actually, thank you. Everybody should be, if you're not aware, Tom Moore, which is an outstanding attorney for the city. I've worked with him for years. He is a favorite of the council and many of the councilors. I can't speak for them all, but he gives us good information, and he does his homework, and he gets back to us in a timely manner. So he will be, I believe, the gentleman who will be overseeing the legalities and of the money, the ARPA money, that's coming into the city. So I'm really excited to be looking forward to working with him in his new capacity. And I believe Boku is also taking over the parking authority. He's a good gentleman. Worked with him for quite a while as well. So there's a lot of movement within the city, but the things that are happening around the city, they're very positive. It's election time, so everybody's jockeying for positions for theater and what have you. I've just simply said, if you want to find something negative, I'm sure you can. And of course, as I reach out and knock on doors and stuff, people are quick to point out all my shortcomings, all the things the city is doing wrong. But I'll say it again, if you have money, you're looking for investment, Springfield is booming. And I expect if we can get a break on the pandemic, that boom will continue. I'm happy to see that Fontaine is doing such a great job initially right out the box to try to do the right thing. And there's a little extra pressure now because of what happened in this North End in the last school project, coming in under budget, on time, and almost meeting or exceeding all the numbers, but not quite on a couple of categories. But that should add extra pressure, but you've done nothing but impress to this point. So once again, if there's something that I can do, I would appreciate, people not assuming that I know what I need to do. Please share, or I'm thick-skinned enough for you all to be able to reach out and say, Melvin, what you said wasn't correct. Or if you think I need to say something in a different way, let me know as well. And if I'm comfortable, I'll be happy to repeat it. But I'm really proud of the work that the REO has done. Thank you to you all, the committee members, and thank you to Maureen, who has her own regular job and then takes this on as an extra charge. And finally, I'd like to say thank you to the team at Focus Springfield, because we can't get any of this done through this pandemic without this outstanding team and the quality work that they've done doing this. So they should be getting lots of applause and accolades. Is there any other business being properly brought before us that I need to address? Hearing none, it is still a dangerous world. So I hope everybody will be conscious of being careful and stay healthy. And I look forward.
Motion.
But I hear you. Come on, bring it out, Fiore.
Motion. I just want to make a motion to adjourn when you finish talking. I'm sorry. I thought I'm sorry. I jumped in. Sorry.
It's fine. Motion has been made to adjourn. Do I hear it seconds? Yes, I'll second it. And all in favor, please say aye. Thank you, everybody. And be well.